Good morning. Well, today again we meet once morning, and this morning we'll talk of the major issue that concerns each one of us. And not only us, but people living all over who desire to come to Canada. But to the people living here, the repercussions of immigration are extremely important. We do not deny that the natural resources and the economic development needs more people, and rightly so. But the concentration of the people in certain definite areas is not acceptable. Anyway, we'll talk of the geographical dispersion another day. Today, let's concentrate on the new immigration targets of the government. The federal government has decided, in its best possible judgment, to alter the immigration, to increase the immigration. The proposal was to increase it to 400,000 in place of the present one. One advice was to double it up to make it 500,000. But the government hasn't accepted that. It hasn't gone that far ahead, but it has still made significant changes. Now let's see what the changes are. The first is that they have decided to double the quota of refugees. But that does not include 100,000 Syrian refugees that will be brought in. Justin Trudeau government, as per its election promise, brought in 31,000 refugees this year. And they now plan to bring in 100,000 more Syrian refugees. But again, that's a different ball game. In immigration, they have said that the number of the refugees, normally who come as refugees, that number would be doubled. Okay, humanitarian, good Canadians, taking care of others. Then they have said that the family reunion shall be increased by 18%. Okay, but that along with the increase in refugees, we have not calculated how much the pressure would be on infrastructure, on hydro, on transportation, on pollution, on food, on welfare, on Medicare, on housing. Anyway, and another major change that they have done is they have reduced the number of the skilled workers. It was 181,000, the target earlier. Now they are going to decrease it by 20,000 to be 161,000. Now this thing jars a lot. It's the skilled workers who are needed. It's the skilled workers who contribute to the economy. It's the skilled workers who fill in the jobs that are going begging because some of the Canadians don't want to take them up. And in some areas, we really need skills. In new areas, informatics, robotics. So, this change is something which does not appeal to anybody. Now imagine this is a curious game in which we are increasing the number of immigrants who are going to be a burden on society, whatever the ethical reason may be, whatever the humanitarian reason may be. But the economic reason says that they are going to add to the economic woes. And the people who could contribute to the economy, their number we are decreasing. Now, this equation doesn't appeal to any sane person. Now, imagine saying that, as the government would say, as John McCallum would say, that let's increase the size of the cake. Okay, you increase the size of the cake, but if the number of the cake eaters increases, the slice of the cake coming to each person may be reduced. You don't want to increase the size of the cake alone. You want to increase the size of the slice as well. And that is where we need, if we need at all, economic immigrants, business immigrants, skilled worker immigrants. Not in the family class, not as refugees. Now another portion. If the family class 18% increase would definitely mean 18% increase in already aging population. Already if you look at it, which I plan to discuss tomorrow, the number of the baby boomers and the number of the people who are in the higher age group is increasing disproportionately. The way that number is increasing, it looks that we are nearing that stage where Japan or Europe would be, that we have only the older people and the younger generation is not there. And that's not a happy situation. But increasing by 18% every year, we are adding to that burden, especially Medicare, housing, social welfare, and other allied expenses. Now imagine a few years later, if this trend continues, we shall see only the retirement colonies. And that is good, but not a welcome situation. The ideal situation should have been and would be increase the number of skilled workers, especially in the lower age group. And for that, the ideal is increase the number of the foreign students. Government must say that it would encourage, enhance the number of the foreign students coming over here. And then give them the immigration. Now those people who come here for studying purposes, A, they have Canadian education. B, they are conversant with the Canadian work ethics. So two prime considerations which the employers have already met. One, Canadian education. B, Canadian experience. And third, they'll start contributing to the economy right from the day one. As students, they are paying the fee, so they are contributing to the economy. And as soon as their student days are over and they have been given the PR status, convert that student status into PR status automatically. Make the checks at the time of giving them the student visa more rigorous. But let it be mandatory. Of course, it's optional for them that they'll be eligible for PR as soon as they complete their studies. And then they become contributing members, useful members of society, enhancing the economic growth. Now, you remember that we had talked a couple of weeks back that IMF has reduced the growth prospects, the GDP growth, to 1%. And Pelosi, the governor of the Bank of Canada, on last Wednesday, when he said that the rates would not be increased, rather hinted that they may be decreased further. We are already at 0.5%. Decreasing further means negative rate of interest. What the impact is, that we can discuss separately. But then, that is what was feared for because of the lower economic growth. Now, if we have got more young people coming in here, then you can be sure that it will contribute to the economic growth. Now, this is a small thing. As I said, when the young economic contributing people come in, the result is that not only the size of the pie increases, but the size of the slice of pie increases for everybody. And that is what we should aim at. We should not aim at slicing a pie and giving it to more people with the result that they get a reduced slice. We are not saying that reduce the size, increase the size of the cake and also increase the number of takers. So either the slice remains the same or it becomes reduced. But the aim should be the slice should become bigger. Even if the number of eaters, achievers, partakers is bigger, let the larger number also have a larger piece of slice. Now that is possible by A, inviting foreign investment, which we have seen that's not very forthcoming. B, by increasing the immigration of those people who contribute right from the day one. C, by not increasing the number of the people who would not contribute to the growth of the economy but would be a burden to the economy. Look here, if you are talking from economy, the consideration of getting the families united doesn't appeal. And even otherwise, I have discussed earlier, if you remember, that bringing elderly people here not only is a burden to the society here, it is criminal to those people as well. They suffer from isolation, alienation, loneliness, and they become the victims of depression and mental diseases. Mental health is a major issue for them. Why do we want to do that? As I usually say, you don't transplant a grown-up tree, you transplant a sapling. This simple thing escapes the attention of our leaders. They forget that majority of the people who want to bring their seniors, their parents and the grandparents, want to bring them partly out of love, but partly out of the consideration of getting pensions and benefits from the government. That's more economic, but more economic geared to the selfish ends. I know this is going to annoy some people, but that's a fact. And that truth does annoy people. So this is the high time that the government woke up and instead of adopting harebrained policies of immigration, has a more pragmatic and practical approach and ensures A, immigration should be strict, more strict, and should be confined only to those who can contribute to the economy, not to those who will be a burden to the economy, except in the rarest of the rare cases. And believe me, such cases may not exceed 100 in number in a year. But having them hundreds and thousands, that is definitely suicidal for the economy. I hope that people would wake up and the leaders would wake up and realize that their first job, their first priority should be the people and the economy of the people, the economy followed by health and other things. Other things will automatically follow. If you are economically sound, you would ensure better infrastructure, better facilities, better quality of life. And that's what we need. And that's what we hope our leaders should ensure, rather than following up populistic policies that are the death knell of our being an advanced economy. Thank you.